Jennifer Freedman, welcome to the Experience Land. How are you doing today?
I'm excellent. Thank you very much.
Awesome. I was thinking that, when I'm going to welcome you, whether I should be, saying welcome to you, or should I be welcome
Right,
because
I
we
should
are,
be welcoming you to the Groom With Me.
because we are sitting in the Groom With Me. So Jenny, you have, heard about the podcast concept that we are focusing on the normal people's journeys. And so how do you feel about the concept when we talk about sharing the podcast information on the ordinary people?
I think that is wonderful. I think that it really helps make everybody feel special. And like whatever journey that they're on or whatever passion that they're pursuing, it makes everybody feel special and connected. And giving that highlight really does make people feel honored. So
Nice.
thank you.
Nice.
Thank you for making me feel honored.
Pleasure. I mean, just for the audience's information, I have been, coming to groom with me to groom my own dog, and she's an amazing teacher, I would call her, because not only she does the great job that the other groomers, are doing, but the advantage that I feel with Jenny is that she's even open to teach you guys, do some DIY activities at home, because I myself am a big traveler. I travel a lot, and it's hard for me to keep up with one groomer. So today in this episode, Jenny is going to share her journey, where she comes from, but she's also going to share the insights of the business and how you can learn and groom your own pets at home. So Jenny, to begin with, let's talk about who Jenny is.
So who am I? I am a Taiwanese American. I came from parents that came to America in the 80s. And I grew up in Buffalo, New York.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how different was it? I know that you've been born and raised in America, but from the family that comes from Taiwan, comes with a big Asian culture, in the background. I'm sure that culturally Asians are very strong, and I see the values, itself. Like you have your grandfather's picture in the background, and and the blessings.
Try to reach him. Here's Grandpa.
That's grandpa. So that's what the culture is all about, is to keep their elders together, and their blessings make the immense amount of differences in our lives. That's what the belief is in the culture. So talk more about how different was it to being raised as an American child but having the Asian values.
Well, I think that all of them are true. So rather, not all of the things that they say about Asian Americans are true. We are not all good at math. And we can't all be doctors and lawyers, okay? So my parents did come from a very traditional background. They thought that the only success was doctors, lawyers, or failure. And I couldn't do any of them. So I became a dog groomer.
So when you say that, you even had this expectation that if you're in America, you have to be good in maths, you have to be either a doctor or a lawyer. And when I was reading your journey online on your website, you mentioned that you have been a paralegal for 10 years.
I was.
So that's, I would not say that it's any less intelligent that you're going to,
But I didn't make it all the way.
I know, but still, I mean, that is also the route that not even many people think about,
Yes.
taking it. It does require courage and intelligence. And
Thank you.
And then moving from the paralegal to Groom With Me, how did that work?
Well, it just became emotionally overwhelming. I was working for an attorney that handled a lot of Department of Children and Family cases, and you don't have a lot of control as a paralegal in how that goes. So it became overwhelming for me, and I was able and presented the opportunity to go and do something that I actually loved still. So I did go back to grooming.
Nice. And you've also worked with the zoo park. How was that experience? Because I was reading that was that within your 10 years journey while you were a paralegal, you were volunteering?
So,
so there is more about
yeah,
it.
there is more about it. So I originally wanted to be a vet.
Oh.
So a doctor, but for animals.
Doctor is a doctor.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I did want to be a doctor for animals, and I was a paralegal. Well, sorry, in high school I was on the pre-vet path. So I was like super into biology, and I was interning at a local animal shelter, animal hospital, as well as the Roger Williams Park Zoo, which is in Providence, Rhode Island. If you've never had a chance, they're awesome. So Roger Williams was my volunteer job as a high school student. And I went every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, throughout the entire year, even in snow, to pick up animal feces and clean up their pens and care for them.
So this is not your interest, took a birth while you were doing the paralegal job, but this is something before than that.
Oh yes, the animal thing has been, I was born with it.
Wow. So you have been taking care of the animals, or you have had the animals since you were born.
Totally.
Nice. So now when, converting that passion to a profession, especially to the time of pandemic, in 2020, you started this business. At that point in time, investing any money anywhere was a question for many big companies. How did you take that decision of starting your own business during the pandemic when people would try to be as less as possible to be interacting with people?
So it actually was not something that I had to decide on.
Okay.
I actually purchased the vehicle in February.
Okay.
And as you may remember, the pandemic didn't technically hit until March.
Yes.
So so the quarantine process was in March when I was only open for 1 week.
Okay.
So I was open for 1 week, officially 1 week.
Okay.
But then we were all shut down.
Okay.
So I didn't really have a choice, and I was kind of left floundering, at first at least. And then I realized that this was like a perfect opportunity for me to build my brand and to reach my clients before I actually met their pets. Showing people that I want to teach them, I want to help them, especially during the pandemic when everybody was shut down. I know that veterinarians were being bogged down with injuries from home care. So I was an advocate during that time to try to make sure that, the pet grooming industry could reopen. We could prevent pet injuries. We can prevent unwanted neglect, essentially, because these dogs were becoming so matted that they were completely pelted, is what we call it. And it's when their entire coat becomes one piece.
Right.
So it can be very dangerous and uncomfortable for pets.
So as you were talking about your advocacy journey, was there any of the instances that you would like to share during the pandemic that you were able to help people with any of your knowledge or your experience?
Totally. So during that time, while I was building my business and the awareness of the importance of grooming, I would go on my Instagram or Instagram stories and try to go live. We would do live demonstrations to try to show pet parents what they could do at home. And also during that time, I teamed up with Martha Blacksmith. I might have to fix that name, but Martha, who was a vet that I met at a Petco, and she and I collaborated, and we wrote letters to our government in telling them the importance of dog grooming and the importance of keeping them open.
Wow.
We, as in other groomers from Massachusetts, created a Facebook group. We compiled photos from dogs that were becoming injured, from home groomings, pictures of what could happen when things didn't get taken care of, whether it be skin infections, ear infections, or others. And that's it.
I mean, that's an amazing experience because even though you did not have the opportunity of, personally meeting and helping pets or the dog owners,
Right.
but you were doing every best of your possibility to help them, giving that information either via Instagram, social media. And I think that social media played an immense role during the pandemic time to not only, connect with people, but in any best manner you can help. And I
Yes.
think that you took that opportunity very well
Thank you.
to share, your best of experiences.
Thank you. Yeah.
So did you get any of the feedbacks during that time that how you were able to help people even on the videos or?
So yeah, I had people following from all over the country.
Wow.
There were people from Vegas, from Florida, from there was a poodle group that I followed on Facebook, and I also went on there and showed my tips and tricks because there were I'm a poodle owner of two.
Wow.
So I think that a lot of poodle owners, from all over the country were very grateful that I was sharing this knowledge. And I actually have some Facebook reviews, I think, from people from other countries other states that were thankful for the information that I shared on my social media. Yeah.
I'm getting more of a sense that it's one thing that you are doing the business because that's your passion.
Yeah.
But there's another passion that I see in you is teaching people.
Totally.
Is to share the knowledge.
Absolutely.
And that's an amazing combination, guys. When you get to a groomer who is not only grooming your pet but is also grooming the owner with the best of knowledge. So that's really appreciated. So let's talk more about the challenges during the pandemic when you opened up the parlor. How difficult was it to be connected with people?
So in our grooming van, it wasn't difficult to connect, actually. I think that it's where the connection was strongest. It put me in a position where I saw families in their home environment.
Okay.
And during COVID, where people were struggling with connection, and I became sometimes the only source of connection for certain clients.
Wow.
Senior clients specifically, and senior clients that were losing spouses.
Oh.
So it was difficult in that emotionally, I think.
Definitely.
It was an emotional thing for everybody during that time. But when we opened, we also saw cases of not intentional animal neglect. Because of that quarantine period, we were seeing pets that were much more matted. They were having wounds that were covered by matting.
Right.
So once uncovered, they actually had to be sent to vet offices and things of that nature to be cared for. So I actually find that it was not difficult to connect. It was actually more connecting.
Right. Was there any of the experiences wherein you found animals or pets being neglected because of the unavailability of right services, or it's just in matter that people were not in right state of mind?
I think that during COVID, when I first reopened, it was honestly because of the shutdown.
Okay.
So there was months that the grooming salons were shut down.
Right.
And a dog can get matted very easily, especially if they've had this coat that's been growing for a while.
Right.
So it can happen overnight, and it can cause skin issues and
Right.
Wounds and things of that nature, or cover things up.
Or that when it comes to this paying your pets, how important it is to make that decision within an year's time, or when should they just fix that thing up?
So for as far as spaying and neutering goes, I think that that's definitely a personal choice. It should definitely be a conversation that you have with your vet, depending on what breed you have, because certain breeds require more time to physically mature.
Right.
So for a smaller bred dog, a Maltese,
Yes.
Chihuahuas, things of that nature, they're usually at their full expectancy as far as size within 6 months to a year. So for a smaller dog, that could be very important. But for a larger dog, like a poodle, bull mastiffs, pit bulls, things of that nature, they're much larger, so it takes their body almost 2 years or more to physically mature.
Right.
And that part is very important, in my opinion, because it provides their bones and their joints the better strength and full development.
Right. So when it comes to taking the better care of the smaller or the bigger dogs, I mean, over the size, definitely smaller dogs are much easier to pick and go, because I myself travel a lot, and I just put her in my backpack and just go anywhere. But what would be your recommendation for the big dog owners of how they can travel with the big dogs when it comes to traveling different countries? Because I myself have traveled from London to the US, and definitely traveling in a plane within the US is much easier than taking a risk of keeping your dog separate in a cargo box and then waiting that how she or he is doing.
Oh God, that is a very tough question. And when you have the answer, please tell me, because I have two large dogs and it's either drive with them in our car and have it smell like dog breath for 8 hours,
I know.
or leave them at home. So when you have a better idea, please let me know.
I'm still second guessing because we are deciding that whether we should get another dog or not. And I'm like, I have never had the Maltese size of dog ever in my life. It's like immense difference.
Yes.
And I see that it's pretty easy with smaller dogs to travel with.
Totally.
Especially even when you are driving, because my longest drive from Hull to Atlanta was the longest drive that I have experienced. And yes, we did take a couple of stops, but it was not a journey that we stayed anywhere overnight.
Right.
So she was still fine. Like we just set it up, her bed on the bed
Right.
seat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it was all fine. And most of the time she would be, just on the lap snoring. So so with smaller dogs, it's much easier. It's the idea of how to travel with your bigger dogs.
Yeah, and honestly, jokes aside, for the most part, my travel with my big dogs is we pretty much find things that we can do with the dogs. So
Right.
camping is something that we like to do. We'll
Right.
travel to family members' homes. But in the instances that I cannot travel with my pets because they are large breeds, I do find either trusted friends,
Right.
trusted team members of Groom With Me,
Right.
or also I have heard of dog sharing.
Right.
So some of my clients actually tell me that their dog has a second family,
Right.
and that second family can help take care of your pet while you're traveling for long time periods and things of that nature, knowing that their family cannot own and keep a dog forever. So dog sharing is a thing.
So for someone like you, because you've been born and raised here, you have been blessed with good connections.
Correct.
What about with someone like me who came to the US this year itself and still building connections?
So you can ask people like me, and we will
Alrighty.
find you the right person for your
Awesome.
pet.
So guys, if you need that service, contact Jenny and she will guide you up where your dog can find the second family.
That's right.
Awesome. So we are soon planning to travel to India. I'm definitely going to, get in touch with you for that. Awesome. So when it comes to you came back from the pandemic, you opened the parlor, building a team, I'm sure would have been a challenge, because till the time you were doing the van service and going door to door based on the appointments, was finding people a challenge?
Yes. So finding somebody who has the amount of love, precision, and patience as I do for pets is really difficult. And especially in a area where dog care is valued, but not enough people have the experience and education. So I don't remember the exact question you asked me.
It's all right. I'm going to ask you the question, was it difficult to find
Yes.
the right people?
Yes, it was. So the point is that I know that I have a very high standard of care for my own pets,
Right.
and for your pets.
Right.
So finding that person to have that amount of love and care was very difficult. There's not a lot of people that are educated, experienced, knowledgeable.
Right.
And even for me trying to find it, people would be interested, but then they wouldn't pass the test. And the test is multifaceted.
Right.
I need to make sure that they can take care of their pet. I need to make sure that they can take care of my client.
Right.
And most importantly, take care of the brand.
Right.
And who we are, and standing by everything that I am about.
It is more to be able to commit it towards not only, because this is, I think it's more than a job. This is
100%.
more of a connection, not only to the dog owner, but to the animal. Because what I feel that people who consider animals just as, an animal is not something that requires to be in this job. I mean, they need proper care, loving, and that trust that yes, they are in safe hands.
Totally.
So was there any of the occasions when you found that you hired someone who requires more of your help than you expected?
So yes, and can I just say that there was one day, and during Christmas time last year, someone actually reached out to me. I will never forget you. She was wonderful, and she had awesome work, and she was so ready to start the job. And then a week later, called me to tell me that she was moving to North Carolina.
Ooh.
So thank you for that hope, because in a couple of months after that, Abby actually fell out of the sky. And she has been absolutely wonderful. She is driven. She loves and cares about the pets. And when your groomer cares about your pet, when they feel god awful because they forgot to pluck an ear, or wake up in the middle of the night and text their boss and say, "Hey, I think I may have forgotten to trim someone's nails."
I have personally experienced that, and that was one of the reasons when I was in London, I had to change like 3 different groomers within 3 different months duration, because I would not blame completely the groomer, because we were initially moving one place to the another place for first 3 months until we found our permanent location. But still, the kind of accountability that requires in this profession is definitely different than other services, because like you rightly said, that people forget things, and that has happened with my dog itself, because I was like, her one ear is looking shorter than the other. How is that possible? Is that a new hairstyle? that is
so we're still human. We have skills, but we are still human. And
I thought it's a London style. London is known for fashion,
Yeah, asymmetrical.
There you go.
So Abby fell from the sky, and she has been wonderful. But we do also have some groomers and bathers and brushers that come in as interns and then can work their way up. So we have River, who has been with our salon for 3 years now. And River started just as a passion student. River is amazing. He came as a high school student and has stayed with me during that past 3 years, coming during summer times, vacation times, anytime that he had available to learn things. And it started just as bathing a dog, as simple as bathing a dog. And now, which is now 3 years later, he has become almost a finished groomer. He is able to bathe, brush, blow dry a dog thoroughly, and is able to now trim feet and paws and shape dog rumps.
Wow.
Yes.
Isn't that a journey? Because what I feel that it is, bringing different type of choices when people get into this profession because of their passion to begin with. And once, they start getting a sense that, all right, now we are learning, now we are perfect. We can, do our own business. And having that commitment of working with you for 3 years shows the amount of leadership, they are working in, and the sustainability that they are, stick with you, learning from you, and building a really good team here.
Totally. I am so grateful that I'm able to build this team. I'm grateful that people are wanting to learn from me. And it's just it's a huge compliment. And I tell my team every day, I'm learning to be a leader just as much as you're learning to be my student.
Right.
So my biggest thing is learning that what I say to you is not to hurt you, but to say, hey, that's not how I would do it. This is my standard of quality, and this is where I need you to meet me.
Right.
Because we want to make sure that we are cohesive in our brand and our product.
Right. And it's more of a matter that this is not only just a business to, give the dog with one-time service.
Correct.
You would want repetitive customers, because that how much heart are you putting while you care of the dogs. And when you see that the dog is not coming back in the same condition that you would expect, like sometimes there could be gaps 1 to 2 months.
Sure.
And it's a learning process wherein, all right, this time I tried this, strand on the dog. Maybe I have something for the next time. And most of the dog owners even appreciate that.
Yes. And I think that is what we strive to do, is try to learn from each other and learn everybody's lifestyles and what their needs are and what their wants are. So maybe you're a pet parent that has a longer coated pet, and you want this pet to be long and fluffy because it just looks beautiful in the wind and everything else. But in reality, your dog is in the mud and is running through puddles.
Right.
And so
Especially
most
guys,
of the times,
especially when you are in the beach town like
right,
we are,
exactly.
it's like always in the sand.
Right. So being in the sand, long-coated pets become matted very easily.
Right.
So trying to balance that, manage expectations, and then also to figure out lifestyle-wise what is productive for your pet, and how that haircut is going to benefit them.
I mean, this is the challenge that initially I was facing with, because when I would take my dog to the dog parks, I mean, the one thing that she would want to do is quickly go and rub her entire body in the wet grass.
Yes.
And it would especially happen the day she has got the bath.
Of course,
You know?
every time.
And I'm like, why did I even, give her the bath? But then it is equally important to clean them, because they don't know, what is important, what's not important. They just want to enjoy life. They want
For sure.
to keep you happy. And if they are giving you unconditional love without questioning you, I think it definitely is our responsibility to take care of them.
100%. Yes, 100%. And exactly in all that I'm about. Dogs have been a huge part of my life and a huge part of my mental health. And I know that a lot of my clients feel the same way about their pets. So I just want to continue the virtuous cycle of being able to care for your pet, making you happy, and in turn making the pet happy and me happy.
Everyone is happy.
Everybody is happy.
Everybody's happy. So you brought a very valid point, mental health with pets. How do you see people, because you meet a lot of people, and I know by myself that there is not a single night when I will sleep without hugging my dog. So how do you get feedbacks, or in general people share their experiences, how their lives have changed with pets?
I think that the beauty of dogs and pets, or just, pets in general, is that you don't have to say anything. We don't have to say anything to know that you want to be loved and seen and heard. And it's just the same as the animal. Just
Right.
as the animal wants to be loved, seen, and heard, we as humans do too. And I think that that's the beauty of what I do. I don't need to hear that you're struggling to know that you may be struggling inside. And it would never stop me from being kind to you.
Their eyes are big enough
that's right.
to communicate it even better than words.
100%.
I mean, I remember the time when I was leaving, the town, and my dog especially, I'm sure that the other dogs as well, she would literally, be in my suitcase and would like, I'm going with you, So these are the signs that, you get too much attached with your pets, or with just pets in general, that,
Totally.
what kind of emotion connect that is, that you are packing your bag. The dog is coming and sitting in your suitcase that don't leave me.
Don't leave me.
Don't
That's
leave me.
right.
And when you are getting dressed up, I mean, although when we go to our works on a daily basis, it's a normal feeling for them. But when you are going for a longer gap, they have the sense that this guy is not coming back
For a while.
And
just to piggyback off that story really quick, my sister went and did the trip of a lifetime.
Wow.
She was all over Europe. She was everywhere for about 25 days. Her dog, Spartacus, poor guy, has probably thought she died because she came home and he was filled with hives and hot spots, which, by the way, everybody, is a common symptom of stress.
Okay.
So when your pet is stressed and you're departed for a long time, it can make the dog feel stressed, and it can cause a physical reaction. And in some dogs, it can cause these large hot spot type welts. So next time you leave your dog, you think about what you're doing her.
It's not happening. It's not happening. And that's where, we have, always been in a practice of taking her with us whenever we can. I mean, or wherever we are going.
Yeah.
It's a matter that not only it's she who is missing us, equally it's us as well, who miss them. Because for someone who is sharing your bed with you, who is eating with you, who is with you all the time you are in the house, I mean, you can't think of just leaving a gap, and it's nothing different than our own family members.
100%.
So I definitely try to take her with me everywhere I go.
Pets are family.
They're family,
and they deserve the best, just like we would want for them.
Absolutely. So when we were talking about your pandemic journey, there was one thing that was hitting my head right after finishing the journey, of pandemic, you got awarded 2 times. Not only once, 2 times with Best of
Thank
South
you.
Shore Home and Style magazine.
Yes.
So how did that work? Because you were very new in the business.
Yes, I was.
You were not new in the passion, but you were new
No.
in the business.
True.
But how did you able to, finish that competition with the expectation, or not expectation, that only you can tell, that you are going to be winner?
So, in my heart, I'm the winner. In my heart, always, I'm the winner.
Enthusiasm, guys. Enthusiasm.
So even if someone else won, it's fine because in my heart, I am. But that being said, the question was, how did it make me feel to be honored in that way? And there's no words. Wow. Wow is a good one to start with.
Yeah.
It makes me feel so incredibly happy that people see the importance of dog care and how much I love their pets.
Yep.
And so it was just wow. Wow for supporting me, supporting my family, supporting my dreams. One of the reasons, I don't know if you know this, but one of the reasons why I like to be referred to as Jenny is because it's a childhood name. And it brings childhood back to me. It brings that joy, that childlike joy back. So thank you all for supporting my dreams.
I think that this is one part that people generally forget, or kind of, dig the child inside their hearts. Because I believe that even if you be 90 or 100 or whatever age, that child is still alive in you.
Yes.
And whether you need to raise that child or you need to
Nurture it, or yeah.
it's in your hand. But that's one journey that I feel, and it's for everyone who is listening to this podcast, that never kill that child. Make as much as naughty activities that you can, and keep spoiling yourself. Unless and until you're not hurting anyone else's feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, the message is...
And yourself.
Exactly.
And yourself,
Exactly.
okay.
I mean, if you're a child, you're definitely not going to hurt yourself. So definitely, I would admire and appreciate the message that is coming with your journey of keeping that child alive.
Thank you.
So that was pretty cool topic to talk about, your child inside you that is making you winning the occasions of life or the challenges that you're facing.
Totally.
But speaking about the child, you have 2 children, 2 beautiful children.
Yes, I do.
When it comes to taking the responsibility of this professional business model and those cuties at home, how do you able to manage that?
Well, it's a lot better and a lot easier than it was when I was working for someone. So one of the biggest things that drove me to entrepreneurship and having my own business was because I wanted to make sure that I was available for my children. Especially because I felt like I missed out on some of that during their childhood because I was in college still.
Right.
So having the opportunity to be around for them during, once they get out of school, to be there for their activities, that has also been a part of this dream. So yes, I get to live my dream grooming dogs and all that kind of stuff, but the other dream on the other side of it, behind the brand,
Right.
is being
family.
being available for my family, who is right here also.
Very well.
My son.
See, that's the connection, guys. I mean, she was talking about it, and the son was here.
Yes.
I mean, what else you talk about? I mean, this is what the natural, love instincts are that just come in place. And yes, he's hiding from the window. Guys, you want to come and say hi? Come on in.
Come in. Come in. Come in. Come in. Come in. Come in.
Come on.
Come on. Come say hi.
Come on this side.
So these are
All right,
this
there's
is
a
my
bunch
son.
of young boys coming.
Come on.
Come on.
Hi.
Come on. Get
Say
in.
your name.
I'm Josh. I'm Ekton.
Go ahead. Come. Keep it.
I'm Jacob.
That's her son.
I'm Christian.
There you go.
Come in.
Finn, get in here. And I'm Finn.
Awesome. So guys, this is what you talk about when we were talking about Jenny's son, who is right here in between, and it's I don't know what should I call it. It's like a natural coming.
Their ears were ringing.
It is the most natural podcast I can imagine. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming in and saying hi. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Where's Haley Welch?
Wow, this is amazing. I'm loving it.
So I love my family.
And you guys have already seen it now. Family is always around. And I got my answer that, handling the kids, the house is not a challenge because if I'm not mistaken, your house is nearby.
Yep.
So it's easy for you to commute. It's
Yes.
easy for you to, being taking care of the family home and here the family of, of your business.
Totally.
And soon you are completing your 1-year anniversary in
Yes.
this office.
Yes, our very first 1-year anniversary of the brick and mortar salon. It is on October 2nd from 2 to 8. So there's going to be a big celebration.
Wow.
Dogs and humans are welcome. So feel free,
Awesome.
come in. There will be pup cups for the dogs and DIY crafts for the humans.
There you go. If you guys
so
want to
please
learn,
come. It's going to be fun.
if you guys want to learn and get some guides and talent dictionaries, Jenny would be here to help you out, and I would highly recommend to come and support in any best manner to share your knowledge, share your experience, and share your commitment to your animals, and also learn from Jenny what she has to offer.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So before we sign out for this podcast, the one thing that I definitely would like to end up with, if someone needs to start their own business, or if someone needs to do some DIY tips for the animals who are being at home, how should they begin of thinking about it?
So the first thing is, if you want to have some tips and tricks and learn some things for your pet at home, you are always welcome to contact us. We do offer classes for pet parents, and we can teach you from the whole thing from A to Z, or we can just specifically teach you one thing, which could be maybe the most important, which is brushing your dog. So we do offer classes to pet parents. As far as wanting to be creating your own business and all that kind of stuff, I think that the biggest tip is just because you've started on one path, it doesn't mean you have to stay on that one path.
Right.
You can create many others.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be something that has been started before. You can start something completely new.
Right.
Just as long as you find that you find joy in it and you are able to say to yourself, why is my service or product better or different than others?
Right.
And believing in it.
Right. Believing is an important concept to pursuing
Yes.
a journey.
Totally.
Because what I feel that till the time you're pursuing the journey and not worrying about the final destination, the journey is still
The journey is
still living,
Yeah, it's
you know?
still living. It's still changing and evolving at every step. I say to my team all the time, like, at every day is a new day. So let's just try to keep it going and learn from the last.
being optimistic
Yeah.
is what something that you
Totally.
believe in, and I think that everyone should believe in that aspect of continuing their journey regardless of what the challenges and hurdles you are getting, because I am a strong believer that these hurdles and struggles would never gonna stop. These are basically the parts of your life that you're gonna win each single day.
Totally.
And gonna share their journeys, their experiences. That's what this podcast is all about, to connect with normal people.
Yeah.
Usually, when I hear about the podcasts, or the impression that I get from people, that which celebrity is coming, or the famous personality is coming. This is more of a platform for normal people like you and me can sit and talk about our journeys, because just like us, there are many more people existing in this world who are like us, living the same struggles and still winning the race of life.
Totally.
So thank you so much for sharing your valuable time.
Thank you.
Talking about your businesses.
Thank you.
About your grooming services, your unconditional love for the pets, and the support that you are providing to the society, even to the government, by sharing your suggestion on cards, on emails. That is commendable. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you so much. And if I could just add, if you want to hear any other tips and tricks about starting your journey into entrepreneurship, I will also be at the South Shore Conference for Women as a panelist to speak about my entrepreneurship journey.
Awesome. And I would also, gonna recommend Jenny and I'm not sure if she's gonna take that or not, but I am a believer that she is. That once, I know that right now you are open for the pet parents to groom them. Is there a possibility in future that you can think of giving the online classes as well, or are you still doing it?
That is something that I am trying to dig into. So maybe
I can see,
in the
because of how
future,
busy
for
it
sure.
is with animals, at here, but I can only imagine. But I think that, people would get immense amount of help. I personally have experienced of how much knowledge she has, while meeting her in person. But not everyone is blessed enough to be living in the neighborhood and know her experience. She has 17 years of experience, guys, and she herself has worked in the zoo park, like real, having taken care of real animals, you know so when it comes to the grooming part, I don't think that she is anywhere less than a vet,
Thank you.
or someone who comes with the knowledge that can definitely help you and your pets, for
Thank
sure.
you.
Awesome.
Thank